everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be covering the Kirovets-1, the brand new, another, one of the many Tier 8 Soviet heavy tanks. I know, you've never seen a Soviet heavy tank before. There are so few of them in the game. Now we will have another one. I think this is going to be part of the Convoy something or other, which is Wargaming's new version of the black market or something like that. You know, I don't know. So anyways, we'll get into the stats here, but before we do that, I if you don't watch anything, this is the meme that I made about this tank, and this is pretty much what you need to know. Anyways, it's basically if a 703 and an IS-3 had a baby, it would be the Kirovets. And so yeah, it's basically it's just like a KV. It's an IS-3 that has a hull of a 703. There's minor differences. I'm going to go over some of those minor differences, but it's basically that. It's a Soviet heavy tank. It's kind of derpy. It's got a single shot 390 alpha gun. It's got armor that's kind of okay. The hull's pretty trollish. I mean, there's nothing new here. We're not blazing new ground. So with that being said, if you watch nothing else, you don't. I mean, the rest of it got some gameplay and there's everything else. But you don't watch any of that, and you don't you want to save time. Like, ask yourself this. Is this tank definitely worth whatever they're going to try to charge for it? Probably not, because you could just get a 703 and it would be better. It would be better because you get 2 barrels for the price of 1. Yeah, okay. So it's nothing special. It's okay. It's not a bad tank, but it's certainly not a great tank either. Like, it's fine. It is solidly fine. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to start by comparing a stock Kirovets-1 to a stock, sorry, what I mean to say, an unequipped, unupgraded, just basic bitch level Kirovets-1 to a regular unupgraded, unequipped, and so on. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles on it and equipment and stuff. Like vanilla, that's the better word. Vanilla Kirovets-1 to a vanilla IS-3. And the DPM is pretty similar. The penetration is pretty similar. You can see the reload is pretty darn similar. You get less ammunition. You get more in the Kirovets than the T28. So like, neither one of these is very good. They're both crap. You will see in the replay, like, only getting the chance, like if you don't miss any shots, the maximum damage that you can do in this thing is 11,700 damage. That's not very much. What I'm saying is, like, it doesn't take very long to be running out of ammo, and you can't carry very many HE rounds. But because of that, I think a lot of people are going to be spamming heat and so on and so forth, because you can't have enough ammo. So the Kirovets-1 is substantially worse. It has way worse gun handling, right? So the IS-3, it's pretty decent turret traverse gun handling, but then the moving traverse and the tank traverse, moving the hull back and forth and side to side, the bloom is pretty bad. No one says, oh god, the IS-3 gun's so good, right? No one says that. Well, it's even worse than the Kirovets-1. It's a derpy gun. There's just no getting around it. It just is what it is. I will say this is the part where the thing shines a little bit. The mobility is better, right? It has a higher top speed, and it does get there. Right, you can get there, but it's also not a fast tank regardless. Like, there's just nothing. I mean, yeah, you'll see in the replay. You'll see the mobility in the replay, and then the armor we'll get into in a little bit. So that's basically, like, there's little things here and little things there. It's a little bit faster but a little bit worse gun, and da 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 da. So this compares pretty well to an IS-3. Now, this is the part I also wanted to say. So this is I have equipped the 703 in the way that I think is the way an IS-3. I'm sorry, the way that a 703 should be equipped, which is a vents and an improved aiming and a turbo with these field mods and food and a decent crew. This is this column, and then I've equipped the Kirovets-1 in what I think should be the way that you should equip a Kirovets-1, which is basically rammer, V-stab, and an improved aiming with these field mods and food. And it's like, these are the way I would set these two tanks up, right? So now when you compare the two, it's like, all right, similar DPM, except your 703 gets the double barrel, so you get the double shot memes if you want them. And then here's the funny part. The 703 gets way better gun handling, way better. Like, the turret traverse gun handling is twice as good, right? It's tight. And even the hull traverse, like the bloom in this, is going to be way better. Like, this is a difference of 50%, right? Going from 0.12 to 0.19 is a difference of 0.07, which is more than half, right? So it's more than twice as bad as a 703. and then you've got worse dispersion. There's just, I mean, yeah, it's a derpy gun. So the 703 wins the firepower, and then the gun handling, and even the mobility, right? Because the 703 has the turbo. I put the turbo on there. Same top speed, similar power to weight, and so on and so forth. Like it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. I just like the Kirovets-1, yes, definitely has 1.5 more power to weight ratio, and that's it. But it's also got slightly worse ground resistances, so it's like there's not really. So it's, I will say it's it's a tie on the mobility. Then you get the armor, and we'll get into that. I'll get into the armor. So, but the point is, a 703 is just as good. I think it's better. I think a 703 is about equal, except it gets the meme, the option, the possibility of the auto reloader and the salvo, which you may or may not use, but you have that option. The Kirovets is exactly the same thing, except it doesn't have the option of a salvo. So why would anyone drive a Kirovets? I don't get it. I don't understand. Anyway, so we'll look at the armor of the 703, which you already know, I'm sure, has this, and it doesn't have a beak, right? Like it doesn't have a pike nose. It has a flat nose on the front, and then it has this turret, which is fairly solid. This is why people like this tank. The Kirovets has that same exact, well, almost exactly the same hull, with one difference. The hull side, the side armor on the 703 is 90 millimeters plus a little bit of spaced armor, 16 millimeters of spaced armor, right? And then 100 behind the tracks. The Kirovets-1 is 100 behind the tracks and 85 millimeters, and then that spaced armor. So yeah, I mean, effectively it's the same, right? It's the same thing, but technically speaking, you get 5 millimeters of less effective armor, or less straight up armor on the side in the Kirovets-1 than you do in the 703. So effectively, looking straight at this thing, it's 183. Effectively, you're looking straight at this one, it's 187. Basically the same thing, but if we're going to be specific, if we're going to, technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, but otherwise it's basically a stock stock IS-3 turret on the hull of the 703, except it's a little bit buffed up and so on. So like some areas of this you're seeing 252, which is good. These numbers are solid for tier 8. Tier 6s and 7s and even some 8s are going to have trouble with this. You're going to have to shoot premium and get lucky to shoot right through the turret, which is fine, right? You shouldn't be able to just cheese through a tank of equal tier if you press 2. I will say it does have this 50 millimeter strip, which if you've played the old IS-3, or I think maybe even the new IS-3 has this too. I don't remember. I haven't played the IS-3 in an age, so I don't remember. But it always used to have this little strip on the top, and this still does, where it's 50 millimeters thick. Why does that matter? Well, that means if you're using a gun that is more than, you can get triple overmatched, right? So a tank that is shooting a gun that is 152 or 151 millimeters caliber or higher, so that means 152s, 155s, 183s, all the like. So what, you will just overmatch. You just need to hit it there. It doesn't matter what angle. Doesn't matter whether you're like, it doesn't. You just, if you touch it, you're auto penning. So what does that mean exactly? There's some of the, I mean, obviously there's tanks. I'm sure you guys. There's a 130. The 50 TP. That's a 130. This is a 12.8. That's not going to do it. Ooh, the 752. That's weird. Type 4. Type 4, 15 centimeter shooting AP. Does have an AP round. Ball pen. Here we go. Live. Pen. All day. 100% chance. This is what triple overmatch means. So yeah, that's even if you very, very angle it, even to the most extreme angle possible, doesn't matter. You're still gonna pen. And ditto for things like let's see, compared to the one I was thinking of when I was gonna bring this up was like the 705A, right? Has a really derpy 152 overmatch. And of course this is the same hull as the 703, so the hull's not, it's okay. You got these angly bits, right? And you can bait things because it's very well angled. You can bait shots into this. But at tier 10, the armor doesn't hold up nearly as well as it should. No, I don't think any tier 8 should just be like, "Haha, I am superior to a tier 10." And this one definitely does not do that. So that is the armor. It's okay. It's just okay. It'll troll at tier. It's fine. it's about similar. Again, it's about similar to a 705, or I'm sorry, a 703 or an IS3. It's about the same. In fact, let me just look here real quick at the IS3 because now I'm curious. Yeah, the IS3 has this. Oh god, it's even worse. The upgraded IS3 has a tiny little. It's 20. There's a little. So I think actually this is better than the regular IS3 because the IS3 has this strip over the gun that's 20 millimeters. So that means pretty much anything can shoot this thing with, you know, if it's more than 20 millimeter, 3 times 20 is 20, 40, 60. So 61 caliber, which is just about every gun this thing is ever going to see, is gonna overmatch this little strip above the gun. So I think that the armor on the Kirovets is probably better than the IS3, only because the strip, the overmatch strip on the IS3 is even weaker, right? But otherwise, the turret's just as the turret's basically the same. This little cupola is here. I mean, whatever. Okay, so that is. Let me see here. I've gone over the. I breezed over the equipment, but we'll talk about it now real quick. So the Kirovets. So because the gun handling is super derpy, right? The soft stats are awful, and the final dispersion is awful, and the DPM's not very good either. And like, I felt like it really needed everything you can do to make this gun behave. It's just it needs a rammer, it needs a vertical stabilizer to get these things down to a reasonable level. And I put an improved aiming on there too, because like it's just and of course, you know, ideally you'd have this in an improved slot, and you would put the improved aiming there, and then that. And assuming I have brothers in arms, you got a decent crew, right? And I'm a tryhard, and I run food, so that gets you down to like 0.37. You got you've got your field mods. You're always taking the all-terrain suspension. You're always taking the parallax adjustment, and I'm taking view range, and that gets you down to 0.36. So that makes the gun fine. This is okay. This is a usable gun, but it's still not great. Like, this is still like way worse than the 703, and way worse than, I mean, it's just it's you really need to focus on that, right? So there are going to be people that have reviews of this tank that say, oh my god, but the mobility, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not that much faster than anything else, and it doesn't really matter how fast it is if you can't hit anything once you get there. So anyways, I will say, for the replay that I'm about to show you, I was on my sheriff account, and I had a purple rammer and I think it was a pink bounty aiming and a purple vertical stabilizer. I'm trying to show you guys the best possible situation here, but you can see the difference between that is not very much. But I'm going to say this right now. If anybody wants to cry about purple and pink equipment, you could just stop watching the video now, because I'm just over it. It's in the game. I'm trying to show you guys a good game. I'm trying to use the tools available to me. If you don't like it, you can go watch somebody else's review. So anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the replay now. All right, so we're going to roll out in the sheriff account, playing the Kirovets-1 on, it's an all-tier 8 game. There's no artillery on, what is this, Ruinberg? Ruinberg. And I will admit that this, you know, there's no tier 6s or whatever, but like, this is definitely a really good matchup for this tank, right? There's no artillery, there's no tier 10s, and I apologize. I try to show generally more realistic games so that you can get a real feel for how the thing's going to play. But I've only gotten I'm recording this on the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. It's going to be released tomorrow, so I had one day. So this is my second game ever playing in the tank. You get what you get. If they would have given me a week, then I could have. I had no right to hit that shot. But if I'd had more time, then I could have picked and chosen better replays, more representative replays. But this is what we have. This is all the time I had, so I'm putting this together now, and I hope you like it. But you can see, like, if you notice on the way into town, if you want to back the video up, you can. I did beat the IS-6 in. I was about at parity with the E75 TS. I was, maybe he was a little bit faster than me. Some of that was down to spawn. But you can see some of these, like, the reticle's not big, and this is all purple equipment with food and great crews and stuff, and I've got to just throw it out there and hope, because I'm not able to aim. Like, okay, wait. Okay, finally now, oh god, finally I can aim for spots and hope it goes somewhere, right? But even then, this is not an accurate gun, and there's not really anything you can do to make it an accurate gun. And and our IS-6 is going to get really brave. I played a little further back in this game just because I was in a sheriff account, and it's really hard when you're playing in a sheriff account to not get YOLO'd. Like, if I do something like, yeah, if I do something like that, the entire team is going to drive in because everybody wants the gold. So I had to play back and be conservative so that I could actually live longer than 5 seconds and show you guys what the tank can do. But yeah, we're just going to sit and wait for this corner because our team is going to be bait, and this T-28 prototype has decided that he wants it. And you can see, just pay attention. I'm holding still, I'm pre-aiming, I'm looking for weak spots, and the reticle is just, it's very hard to, it's about the size of the entire turret. I can't aim for weak spots. I can only aim for the tank and hope that it goes, right? So this is just like the IS-3. It's you know, once you get to the spot where you're brawling, you're not moving. So that mobility that you get, that's a little bit better than the IS-3, I won't say it's wasted, but like, you don't notice now that it's a little bit faster, do you? You're brawling on a corner. That's what you're supposed to do. It's a Soviet heavy tank. And again, I've just got to throw it down range. This is with purple equipment and food, and I can't, there's no snapshotting, you know? I just have to kind of throw it in the general direction and hope that it goes somewhere where I ask it to. And even pre-aiming, you know, we're sitting here and waiting, but it's still not a guarantee. Like, I might not hit cupolas. So it's, I found it to be, oh, yeah, see that? I was aiming for the flat spot of the turret, but I probably should have been aiming for the cupola. But then again, the question is, would it have mattered if I hit the cupola or not? Because, like, that one hit, but... oh, here we're going to get IS-3A clipped. It could have just as easily not gone there. Like, it's not like I perfectly aimed it, I just got lucky. Ditto for that one. The aiming reticle was huge, it just went there anyways. I will say, when I was getting shot by the IS-3A, hang on a second, we got paid actors just driving out. This is what I mean to say. I don't know what this guy's plan was. Maybe he lagged or something, but that's free. That's a free IS-3 right there. The IS-3A was clipping me, and as I was pulling back, I was able to over-angle the hull, which allowed me to bounce his last round, which is a pretty big deal. You know, that's one thing where if I had a pike nose, I probably would not have been able to do that. So the Object 703 hull is coming into play, and yeah, no complaints. So I think I would rather drive this rather than an IS-3, but I also don't find myself wanting to drive an IS-3 all that much these days either. I still think this is a worse tank than, like, I don't like, oh, yeah, see, even aiming for the cupola, it doesn't really go where you want it to go. I don't like power creep in the game, especially at the rate that it's lately been going. But at the same time, I'm not trying to say that, like, every tank should be better than the Skoda T56, or else it's not worth buying. But at the same time, you're going to be playing against Skoda T56s in this tank, and so you both paid $45 for your tank, and he's just better. He's not just a little bit, but a lot better. So I don't understand why anybody would pay a bunch of money for the privilege of being outplayed. Oh, okay, so that one hit where I wanted it to. So I don't know. It's a tough spot because, like, this tank is fine, but the problem is the bar has been raised, right? Like, I'm not going to recommend a Patriot to anyone anymore because it's just, in the game of trading 240 Alpha for some Skoda to hit you for 900 just doesn't feel good. Same thing for the Centurion or the Caravan Action X, and it's just, there's a lot of tanks that used to be great and they just aren't worth it anymore because there's so many better tanks out there. So many clip tanks exist in the game now that didn't before, that you got to work pretty hard to sell me on. Oh, right through the mantlet. You got to work pretty hard to sell me on any single shot tank these days. I like clip tanks, I like single shot tanks, but there's so many auto loaders and auto reloaders that a single shot is going to be so disadvantaged most of the time that, oh man, so I don't know what these guys are doing. They must be distracted or something. Maybe they're but that 53 TP just gave it away to us. He just wasn't paying attention. And so we've been able to rack up this 3,500 damage just by sitting here and waiting for them to be stupid. And they're doing it, right? So we're just going to wait. We are losing the field now, but my job is to be here. My job is not to flex around and try to save the field because I'm basically an IS-3. So we just sit and wait and be patient. And I see our Tornbong has gotten himself in a bit of trouble. He got up there by himself. He isolated himself. And I see they're pushing around. We know they're pushing around. I see them. They're spotted. So we're going to get back here and try to evaluate. Let me see here. Going to get behind this rubble pile and wait for them to pop out. And wait. And we... Perfect example. I had the side armor of the IS-3, or the IS-6 there, and it bounced anyways. That guy deserves to be dead, and he's not. So I don't understand. Don't understand what happened. The tank is... Like, that one went in, but it could have just as easily bounced on his upper hull. I don't... Like, the gun is incredibly derpy. Like, I don't know why anyone... It's like an IS-3A gun, which everybody knows is super, super derpy. The reason you don't see so many of those tanks is because it's frustrating to play with a gun that just is like a blunderbuss. It just doesn't do anything. And this is very similar to that. Again, I want to remind you again for the third time, this is with purple equipment. This is as good as it can possibly get. And right now I'm trying to decide where to go, right? Do you go back to the base? I don't want to push in by myself, but I see this 704A it seems to be preoccupied. I think he's looking at our T-34-3. So I'm looking at this saying, all right, I can wait. I can aim, miss. And this is what the tank does. Yes. Luckily our Scorpion G can hit his shots, because that's what that tank is made to do. But yeah, it's an IS-3, and except worse. I don't know. You pay for the armor, right? It's got the better hull of the 703. And slightly better mobility, but it's still not good mobility. And now, as soon as they kill that guy, I'm thinking, okay, if there's an artillery or if there's like the ISU back over here, then I can go pick him up and you know, win this flank. But otherwise, I need to get back to the base. The Barask is very low hit points, and so it's me and the Scorpion G basically that have the hit points, and I'm yeah there. And so the 274A. is on the base. I know exactly where he is. He's going to be up against that rubble pile. Hopefully, I'm assuming he's going to have all those tank destroyers backing him up. I'm definitely going to die when I approach him, but this just is what it is. We have to go back and reset the base, or we just lose. So I'm expecting to drive in, shoot him once, and then explode because I get shot by all the rest of the team, the 5 teammates. But this is my only choice. There's no other way to approach this. If they've got somebody at A6 and they've got somebody at, I don't know, A0, I'm just dead. But I'll try to just approach. I'm not spotted yet, so I'm just going to try to, you know, approach from the inside of the rubble pile here and see what happens. And okay, there's our 274A, and that bounces somehow. This is what I'm talking about. This, like, I couldn't believe it. Even as I was playing the game, I was like, are you effing kidding me? I had his flat side, and I just have to turn him now and hope. Okay, and luckily the Scorpion G was able to put the shot in, because I'm not entirely convinced that my shot was going to land that time. And so there's a Scorpion. I'm just expecting to get lit up by the A line any second now, and I haven't been. But again, I'm expecting once again that this Scorpion G is bait. Oh, and there's this even 90 behind us. I'm ready to be shot any moment. I don't know where the enemy is, but if they were at A6 like they should have been, I would have been dead a long time ago. And even 90 has... Okay, I was going to try to head him off here at the corner, and but... Barask. We'd spot the Barask. The Barask, if he'd have been in that spot, you know, 2 minutes ago, it would have been a much different game, I think. But now he's here, and I was going to take the blind shot that the Scorpion G did, because I thought maybe there would be a, you know, some fence or something destructible that he was behind that I could shoot him. But I didn't have the ammo. If you notice here, I've got 2 rounds of standard APCR, 3 rounds of heat rounds, and 3 HE rounds, and that's it. So that's, I don't really have the ammo to be blind firing right now. But I will say one thing, I didn't mention this in my stat review. The standard shell velocity of the APCR rounds is really good. It's like 1400 or whatever it is. Very, very good. Very fast. Unfortunately, because most of the time this tank is going to be shooting up close and personal, it doesn't really matter. Like, you're not going to be shooting at EBRs with this thing, probably, because you're a heavy T. You're brawling. You're meant to be in a corner somewhere, knife fighting with somebody. And right now what I'm trying to do is just figure out if I'm spotted. So maybe I can use my 6th sense to figure out where the enemy is, because there's an ISU that's never been spotted. There's a Barask that we're pretty sure still is at A6, and then there's this Scorpion. So I'm just trying to test out where I can go to get information without exposing myself too much or committing too much. But because I'm not spotted and I'm not getting shot at right now, I'm assuming there's nobody in the middle, right? The middle town there at, you know, E9. And still on this corner, if I was spotted, I would pull back. If I was spotted, I would pull back, and nothing. And so I pull out, and I don't... The Scorpion has run away. Scorpion's gone. So, okay, that's good info. We're assuming the Barask is still there. And so I'm going to be trying to take the safe route here again, because I'm assuming that they must be down on the 0 line somewhere. I don't know where these guys are, but at this point, we only have 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the game. And so I'm just thinking, all right, we just need to go to the cap. If we're going to win this at all, we just need to go to the cap. And so you can see some of the mobility here. We are getting up to 42, 43, whatever. This is on hard terrain, right? Most of the maps in the game are soft terrain, but this one, most of this map is like cities like that, where it's paved, is hard terrain. So you can get up to speed a little faster, and the ground resistances are better, and so on. And we still know the Barask is there. I'm hoping our Scorpion G can get out, because if we're going to cap this out, we need to be fast. Because all the tanks that are left, the Scorpion and the Barask, are fast enough to come back to the cap if there's just 1 on, or maybe even 2 on. But if there's 3 on, then there's no time. There will be no time for them to come back. We need to surprise them. And I'm trying to just inch forward a little bit by a little bit to see if I'm spotted, because this, in the end game situation like that, just knowing, like, if you get spotted, then there must be an enemy, and that's enough. Okay, so now I've just been spotted. This is bad. I have no idea where they are. They must be in these group ahead of me somewhere, like these group of buildings. And I'm just going to try to get to a space where I can hopefully be safe. I just saw a shell hit the ground, and I just saw the ISU, you know, he missed me. So I know he's about over there. So if I can put these buildings between me and them, then everything's good. Then at least from the you know, what is that, K0, K9 area, they can't hit me unless they get closer through these buildings. So this is my goal. And our Scorpion G takes a hit on the way into. I don't know where these tank destroyers are, but the Scorpion G needs to stay over here and stay in the cap. I don't know what his... I don't know. I don't know what the plan was here, but now that he's dead, I'm going to use his dead body as cover. I'm going to use his dead tank to stay safe from the enemies, from that direction anyways. I'm assuming if they come through the buildings on the right, I'll spot them, and there's an ISU, and there's a Scorpion, and okay, we landed in. And now the Barask is going to come from the left if he comes at all, and so I've got this cover. So we just need to wait, and okay. The game is over just before I got my last shell in, so here we go. Alright, so at the end of the game we ended up with 3,959 damage, 3 kills, and that was an ace tanker, I guess. But again, ace tankers at this point are weird because, like, nobody has the tank. So it's not very hard to get an ace because the requirements are not normal, right? When the general population gets the tank, the requirements for an ace will be different. They might be higher or lower, but they're different than what they are now. So the ace doesn't really tell us anything. But that is 1,373 base XP. That might be an ace later on, too. Who knows? And again, leading the team here. But then again, they kind of just ran out in front of me. Like, I don't really feel like I did a whole lot that was exceptional. They just kind of fed me a bunch of damage. There's nothing that happened in this game that I couldn't have done in a 703, and maybe even better, you know? And then at the end of the game, I did have a mission for 50,000 credits, so I ended up with a total of 97,000 credits, but without the mission, it would have been more like 57,000, and I had the food and the ammo and stuff like that, so, like, the money making is okay, but the problem is the gun is so derpy. I think people are going to resort to shooting premium rounds more often because you can't afford to miss. The reload is long and the gun is derpy, so people are going to be shooting the heat rounds. And so for that reason, I don't really think the money making is there either. Yeah, it's an okay tank. Let me know what you guys think. Is this something you guys are going to pick up regardless? Are you collectors? Or, you know, if they sell this for gold, tell me in the comments. If they sell this for gold, what are you guys going to bid? What would you pay for this in bonds if they sell it for bonds? And what would you pay for this in credits? If they offer this for credits, new tank for credits, they've never done it before. What would you pay in credits or gold or bonds for this tank? Looking forward to hearing your responses below, and thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to like and subscribe and all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.